company. I've got a few people here with me. Nathan, mechanical engineer, Jeff Souls, and Cecil Patterson. They both creating construction and run our construction administration department, and they do a lot of these facilities. The report is organized by school, and when you look at the following, there's a building history plan, civil and site assessment, building envelope assessment, roof system assessment, ADA, accessibility, interior finishes, life safety, food service, mechanical and plumbing systems, and electrical systems. I think what I'd like to do is go through kind of this is a section, generally what we've learned, and then take the first school and go through that so you can see the process, and then go to the back where the numbers are, and can see how those relate to the assessment. There is a few addendums that I put by your seat there. One, Fairplains West did not get in the assessment, so we've added that here. There is an energy improvement analysis, and that's one thing that was commented on at the last board meeting that I was at, and so we have that as well. And then there's option descriptions. Those are the different options we looked at, and we'll go through that a little bit. So basically, what we learned, while there's some recent updates that have been done, most of the facilities are older with many finishes, systems, and equipment wearing out and well past their expected life cycles. And also a lot of the buildings that have been unoccupied have had components repurposed for use in the occupied buildings, or scavenged or vandalized, and so generally a lot of things missing in those buildings and need of repair. In the paving and site, there's a lot of issues with the parking lots, bus loops, and drives that are due for replacement, the pavement and sidewalks. It's a need for enhanced safety at some of the student drop-off areas to maintain separation between student traffic, buses, and vehicular traffic. Sidewalk safety concerns, trip hazards, and ADA accessibility improvements, and additional lighting on the exterior for enhanced visibility and safety. Elementary playground equipment improvement projects. There is in the report a section on the playgrounds, and we've identified the needs for selective playground equipment replacements to address both safety and code concerns. In re-roofing projects, there's multiple roof systems that are in poor condition, past due for replacement. Secure entry projects, there's a need for secure entry remodeling, as well as perimeter doors to control access into the buildings. And we have included in here the security assessment, which was done by another company, so that's not something we can address today. That's that would be a different meeting. Electric site signage. Some of the buildings do have electric site signage, but there's some that are currently in operation that do not have electric site signage. HVAC building management systems, temperature control projects. Existing system generally is out of date and inconsistent throughout the district. The new control system is needed throughout the district to improve facilities operation, efficiency, and comfort. And also a lot of the mechanical equipment that's required to be replaced. Plumbing improvements. Some of it's the fixtures and some of it's the infrastructure, the piping that's just old and wearing out. Lighting control projects. There's a need for lighting control systems to be improved in our added to give enhanced efficiencies and potential cost savings. And electrical, a lot of panels outdated that are not serviceable, aren't able to get parts for, and no room for expansion. And then I'd like to go through just the Arts and Communications Academy to give a feel for what we've done. And these guys are going to chip in on some of the parts. Okay. So civil and site assessment, there is an LED sign in place and it is in good condition. The asphalt and exterior concrete is in poor condition. Throughout traffic flow, bus loop separate from vehicular traffic would help in a separate staff parking lot. There's no repair drop off. So we want to talk about the building envelope.
Now, the building envelope, we looked at that. This particular building, the time that was built was a lot of poured in place concrete structure with masonry and brick, and that's in good sound condition. The walls are structurally sound, but there's a lot of evidence of moisture intrusion into the building envelope. This caused a lot by failed sealants and caulking. The windows are in good condition, but there again, some of the sealants around the windows are deteriorated. The window sills on the exterior and interior are in need of repair and replacement, and this is causing quite a bit of moisture issues that show up primarily on the inside through deteriorating plaster on the exterior walls. The doors, the FRP doors, are in fairly good condition. The exterior hollow metal doors in Frankville are in very poor condition. They're rusted and need to be replaced. The chimney, boiler stack chimney, is in poor condition. It's a pretty harsh environment for a chimney, a masonry chimney, and that is in need of some extensive repair. The roof system is a PVC Duralast membrane roof. We were able to get some information from Duralast company. This building was in 2003 and 2004 was re-roofed with a Duralast system. We did observe that there are no overflow drains or scuppers, and the drainage on the roof is somewhat limited at 4. The roof deck is in good condition. The existing building is a kind of poured in place plaster lath system. The new building or the additions to the building are metal deck, and they're in good condition. But if you look at the chart related to the lifespan of the roof, it falls in that 3 to 5 area range as far as the expected life left in that membrane on the roof. So it's about 14 years old or so. So you're looking at, I'd like to expect us to get enough roof for 15 to 20 years, so it's getting close to that final replacement.
And then the ADA accessibility, did notice that they required tactile warning strips that turn them down to be able to get up into the sidewalk in the building, the doors were unpleasant. And then we also did see the 88 parking spaces, the signage and striking for that as well. And then to the interior, along that same there, second floor, to be able to get up there was just by the stair. So it's very limited on if there was basically accessible person to be able to get up there. And then toilet rooms required the ADA or barrier free stalls and spaces that required entry there. And, most of those were not compliant. In the doors themselves, a lot of non-hardware, so it's hard for those individuals to be able to open doors as well. Interior finishes, looking through the corridors, travel floors, some minor cracking. Overall, the floors themselves, the corridors were in good condition. There wasn't anything that was coming up or didn't see anything loose when we were going through. Classrooms are the newer carpet tile squares. That all appeared good, minimal wear, no fraying or anything on the carpet. The ECT, however, we did notice that a majority of that was in poor condition. It's just tile and it got some pieces coming loose. Then the gym back door was very well. No issues in it. And then the ceilings, 2x4 grade similar to what's in here, was in somewhat poor to fair condition, a lot of stains, some more tile just from some leakage. Some of that should be addressed to find out what is causing those leaks and get that repairs made. And then there's some areas that exposed 12 tile that was in poor condition, probably just because of the age of it. Just kind of the nature of that. And then plastic ceilings, the corridor where it was, that was in fair condition. The walls, corridor walls, a lot of glazed black. The lower portion up on 7 feet, plaster above was still in good condition. And then the classrooms had painted masonry similar to this room, some exterior black on the outside walls. There was a little bit of movement in there that we didn't notice. So a little bit of the mortar joints were separating a little bit, but the paint in there is generally good condition. Glazed black in the kitchen was in good condition as well. The exterior, again, what Cecil mentioned, shows some deteriorated plaster, just being moisture coming in, and toilet rooms and ceramic tile. In the larger rooms, the tile is good in those rooms as well. And then throughout, casework is all older, original casework, but that's just worn out. It was in poor condition. Doors, window doors throughout the classrooms, offices are in wood frames, and those were in poor condition again, just because of the age. Having noticed the mechanical room door, awful. Toilet rooms was out of metal. That was in very poor condition, and it took us a while to get that door open. So if somebody did get locked in there, accidentally, and get back out, there was a padlock in there. And then we just got some photos there that kind of show the generality of those areas that we discussed. That's the case for ceilings and thin tile and stuff. And then the life safety, 9-acre building with a fire protection system. We did notice that there was a lot of exit signs that should be added just for exiting out of the building. And again, door hardware was a mix of leather and offsets. They were panic devices at quarter X and more, so that's good.
The food service, it's a small kitchen that's not utilized for food preparation, and the finishes are outdated, old, fair condition. It's okay, not great condition. Nate, discuss one.
Yes, from the mechanical side, this first section kind of covers all the air handling systems that have equivalent throughout the building. So at this building, unit ventilators are in most of the fashion by the primary conditioning units. They're about 18 years old, so they're nearing the end of their service life. You can expect maybe 20 or 25 years, but not in the immediate need at this specific building. Got a gymnasium unit that's 31 years old. That's kind of beyond what you would expect, depending on how it operates and where something needs to be replaced. Those are the main pieces of equipment in the building. Central plant systems. There's two different boiler plants in this building. One of them is 28 years old, one of them is 23 years old. Those units are sort of nearing what you would expect their lifespan to be. Depending on how they operate now, it's something we want to look at replacing in the near term. And building controls, 15 years is about where it needs to be budgeted for building controls being functional and useful. So yeah, this is something beyond that, and it's something that we want to be considered for replacement just to improve building operation. On the electrical side, kind of knowing here the lighting is a lot of fluorescent and incandescent lighting. There's a lot of money savings that can be achieved with lighting replacement projects. It seems like lighting is functional, it's just outdated and expensive to operate. There are some occupancy sensors, kind of sporadic, I think, and having a lot of energy to be saved by creating LED fixtures. Same thing on the exterior lighting. Technology, from a visual inspection standpoint, seems to be adequate. We've got wireless access points, wall-mounted projectors in the classrooms, TVs and monitors being used, wireless devices used in the classroom, so it all seems to be pretty adequate. And then from electrical building systems, in this building, the main distribution panels is newer and in good condition. There's some older panels that might be hard to service and might replace breakers for. Those might need to be replaced over time. Receptacles in the hallway, some of them need to drop the code, or some damages that need to be replaced. Black system, this system appears to be inadequate. Kind of depends on how it's operationally working, but from visual inspection, it seems like it's not sufficient. Some different black types were installed throughout the building. New black systems recommended. And security systems, the existing security systems in this building with cameras and door contacts, motion detectors. Visually, that seems to be adequate. But it might be recommended to replace some of that to increase security and access to the building. And then lastly, the fire alarm system. This fire alarm system, let's see, does have horn control capability, but no voice enunciation system, which is required by NEED codes. You want to meet the current code, so that would have to be replaced. The system is adequate and grandfathered in as it stands now, so it's not an immediate thing, but it's recommended that it be updated in the future as we continue to develop the process.
All right. I'd like to go back to the numbers then. There's a couple of handouts that I gave you today. One is of security and the other is warm, safe, and dry. And then at the back of the book, actually page 236, is mechanical replacement matrix. Just want to clarify, because we've got a few different things going here, just so you understand what's happening here. Basically, the warm, safe, and dry was put together.
Warm, safe, and dry now, what it looks like. So you really trying to look in. Okay. Yep. A lot of us are old on this board. We need bigger prints.
The warm, safe, and dry was, we took some things and created that document for the immediate needs for the site sinking flood. And then after that, with the security document, that was developed to get the grant, the federal grant for security. So some of the security items were pulled out of the warm, safe, and dry, so there's some duplication there. And I want to make sure you're aware. And then in the assessment, we have this mechanical replacement matrix. And we put this in here basically because there is a lot of mechanical costs. I want to show what those are. But if you go to the 4 options we had for existing remodel was the first 3 options, and then the 4th was new buildings. All these costs are included in the costs we are showing on those different options. So these are not in addition to the costs we show here. Those are included in these numbers we give for the various options.
Mr. Elton, could you kind of give us more of an executive summary for each building or item that you're going to go through, just for the sake of time? So, because I don't want to hold our guests all day till noon, for example. So we can just do an executive summary because the board has had time for we to look over their workbooks that you guys present.
Basically, the only other thing I had was to look at the energy assessment, the request at the last board meeting I was at, and then on the various options that you've already seen, just to see if there's any other options you'd like us to look at. And so that's all I've got left.
Well, I think so the board, you guys are here, right? So you just went through ACA. Can we have them give us an executive summary of each building? Is that okay with the board?
Okay. Basically, one thing I'd like to say overall is, the high school was built in the 1920s, around 1924. Most of the other buildings were built in the 50s and 60s, I think from 1948. In the 1920s, this is a pretty typical district. In the 1920s, the school buildings were built as a matter of civic pride. And you can see that in the high school as far as the detailing, just on the exterior of that building. In the 30s and 40s, not a lot of school buildings were done just because of the Depression and the wars. And in the 50s and 60s, they played catch up. The population was expanding and there hadn't been a lot of schools built, so a lot of schools were built in that age. And the primary thing was cost and speed. And buildings were built lower, they were less expensive, they weren't built ornately like the high school. And a lot of your buildings are in that era, and overall, especially the systems, mechanical, plumbing systems, I'd say blanket statement is most of them are out of date. The systems is probably the biggest thing agree with that.
Yeah, it's from a mechanical standpoint, in general, most buildings, whether they're from the 80s, maybe early 90s, most of the piping is in tunnels. So nowadays, we're taking a lot of piping out of tunnels with a little overhead, just because it's hard to erode and fail. So that's kind of, most of those are in that same time frame, and they're kind of have the same requirements.
So is that what you're looking for, or you're looking to go at each building and say?
I would go at each building.
Each building, okay. To go to Discovery, it's similar as far as ACA, as far as the site work goes. Building envelope is similar, a lot of tuck pointing and water intrusions and cracking, things like that. It does have double pane awning windows in it. The roof system is in good shape there, 11 or more years for that. BA has a few issues there on the exterior. Not all the entries are barrier-free, and not all the toilet rooms are barrier-free. Interior, the terrazzo is good throughout. The finishes are fairly good in there. Wood casework and the wood doors are starting to wear out. Hardware is old, and replacement should be considered there. A lot of the hollow metal doors, again, on the exterior need to be replaced. Building is non-sprinkler, which is acceptable, but plumbing, mechanical systems, and
It's similar, these similar here, unit vents from 99, so they're not real old. Rooftop units in 2002, and have over 15 to 20 year items from the NDN. Boilers from 2000, so these are newer, in better condition. Control systems have bigger. Fixtures seem to be in average condition, some need repair. Electrical is, electrical is pretty similar to the fixtures. The lighting here is fluorescent. Again, just kind of suggesting updates that we need for monetary savings and for existing lighting. Technology is adequate, needs to be. Clock system looks outdated and inadequate. No security systems, here as far as access control and cameras or open detectors and fire alarm system, similar to the last building.
Dream Academy, built in 1955, an addition in 60, and a classroom addition in 2008. This is one that does not have the digital sign. Again, pavement and concrete is in poor condition. Traffic flow is not the best. Exterior building, I think that was again brick joints need a repair, popping around the windows, some repair of those. The chimney again is in bad shape, repairs needed for that. The roof system is in good shape, 11 or more years to that. ADA, the building's not accessible from the parking lot. Interior finishes are pretty good. There's the adhered tile, ceiling tile is in poor shape. Again, the casework in the wood doors are similar to Discovery. Life safety, missing exit signs, food service, similar. The is in residential range in there requires the commercial hood.
Classroom units here from 99 again, so same age. central plant here is a steam boiler, with steam piping out to the tunnel. So that's most of our buildings use hot water. So this would be one of these that check out the pricing first, just because steam is more efficient. Water is older. It's probably that piping is more conditioning tunnels. Plumbing systems, pictures that are average, some need some repair. Plumbing piping through tunnels, something else that you just have to watch for, see how that pipe, what condition that pipe is in, could be. Electrical is very similar, lighting, lighting is recommended, technology is very adequate. Electrical system, in good condition, three systems here that are screen panels and direct access, should be adequate, require electrical.
The high school, multiple additions and remodeling with original constructed in 1924. Site-wise, there is an LED sign. Pavements have been sealed and striped. There are some that are in need of work. Traffic flow, not the best. The building envelope is fair. Again, the aluminum windows are double pane in good condition, but it's the caulking and the sealants in the wall that need attention. The library addition is single pane windows that should be replaced. A lot of doors in very poor shape. They are the exterior doors. Roof system is in good shape. Interior, most of the toilet rooms are not barrier-free, and a lot of the access points are not barrier-free. Interior finishes, some are in good condition. So a lot of the carpet in the classrooms was replaced. Toilet room ceramic tiles in fair to good condition. Ceilings are were with the 12 by 12 adhered are in poor shape. A lot of the bulkheads have damage to them. Gym addition, gym area looks pretty good. Life safety, exit signs, and panics. A lot of panics are bolted shut, so it's impossible to exit in case of emergency. Food service is kind of outdated. Repairs are needed, but the equipment seems to be in good shape.
Mechanically, the high school has to be a big building. It's a little bit more mixed. Some spaces are not big, have newer units and some newer with documents. There are some older classrooms that have 50-plus-year-old unit hours, so we certainly want to recommend replacing. There are these areas of central plant system. So this has the oldest boilers in the district that I remember. These boilers are 61 years old. Large steam boilers. There's some failure in the venting of the boilers, so that the vent comes out of the boilers, that duct is rusted. So it's just steam back into the boiler. Piping through tunnels that are steam should be likely replaced. And the boiler plant should be upgraded. And sink control systems are all similar in the district. Some of the pictures appear to be mostly in good condition. And the plumbing piping in the boiler room, and through those tunnels is something that's going to be evaluated closer than that as well. Lighting is adequate, technology appears to be adequate, access points, projectors. Main building power panels are in good condition. Some old panels are in the building, but mostly in good shape. Clock and PA systems are in poor condition. Systems are adequate, hearing systems, camera door contacts, we do have spaces in here that appears to be adequate. And fire alarm system, same as the others, outdated but adequate.
International Academy, hall, was constructed in 1926 with additions in 1955. The site work is similar to the others we discussed for repairs needed. No parking lot access, the main entry, no parent drop off. Building envelope, again, needs tuck pointing and cleaning, new sealants. Has aluminum double pane windows that are in okay condition. Limestone sills need tuck pointing. A lot of exterior doors again in poor condition. Roof system, roughly half of it is in poor condition, and some of it's been replaced recently. It's 11 or more years left. Some barrier-free access from the parking lot is not accessible. Toilet rooms are not barrier-free. Interior finishes are in good condition, except the toilet rooms are in poor condition, and some of the ceilings show water damage. Wood doors and hollow metal frames are in good condition. The wood casework is in poor condition. Life safety, there is fire alarm system throughout. Food service is in good condition.
Yeah, so similar aging events in the downers here, the buildings, boiler, a little bit newer, installed 94. It's still something we're going to think about in the future. Control system here that is outdated, like the others. How many fixtures? There's one bathroom that has updated fixtures and some others that needs replacement. Something piping is adequate. Lighting is similar to before. Recommend LED lights, for upgrade energy savings. Technology appears to be similar and adequate. Electrical system in this building is looks like it's in poor condition. There's older power panels that I think need to be replaced in the time. Pocket PA system is similar. At the end of the slide, security systems here are adequate. Cameras are fire alarm is the same. Adequate.
The skill center, basically the exterior is in poor shape all around. The parking, exterior concrete is in poor shape. The building envelope is in poor condition and a lot of cracks. Damage is the addition on the back is pre-engineered steel, and that's in poor shape as well. The roof system is also in bad shape. It's probably 3 to 5 years on that. General does not comply with barrier-free requirements on the interior. The toilet rooms don't meet barrier-free. Office areas in fair condition. The rest of the building, I'd say, is probably in fair condition.
We can't comment here. We have this. There used to be a vehicle exhaust system up in this building that are all active. It's going to be used in the shop. One vehicle inside for settlement. Otherwise, well, it's 97 average condition. Electrical lighting is in poor condition. Electrical night.
Steam, originally built as a junior college, two-story. LED sign's good, but pavement is, again, is in poor condition. Traffic flow is not good. The exterior is some areas with stress cracking in the brick that needs some attention. There's some of the facade that is in poor shape. But primarily the exterior walls are in good shape.
This is probably quite solid building that we have. Board in place concrete, very solid building. Structure.
Roof, 6 to 10 years on that. Some of the entrances aren't barrier-free accessible, and there's a lot of hardware that doesn't function. Interior PCT is in good shape, but terrazzo floor and the toilet rooms need to be cleaned. The carpet in the classrooms is in good condition, but the VCT in these rooms are not. The 2x4 acoustical ceiling is in good condition, but there's staining in some of the doors. Interior doors are mostly in good shape. The food service equipment is in fair condition, and the ceiling and lighting is in poor condition.
Handful of rooftop units here, serving a couple spaces, and about 20 room unit down there in the classrooms. Typical average condition would be nearing number 75. One of the plant here is installed in 2000, should be in good condition. Control job doing good. Some of the fixtures, some of them are in poor condition, need some repair and replacement. Pipe and funnels, okay. And then, lighting, here again is fluorescent. You do recommend it. No occupancy sensors. Also, technology appears to be adequate. Power distribution panels. The main distribution panel is older, so may need to replace in the near term. Some of them need to be other panels need to be investigated by clock system is in poor condition. Central clock is out of date. Security systems are adequate. There's the monitor camera for connection records. The fire alarm is not the same.
Sounds great. The exterior is in the pavement concrete is in poor condition. Exterior walls are in good condition. There is water infiltration related to the main skylight on the roof that is in poor condition. But, primarily the shell of the building is in good condition, but the doors are not. The roof system is okay. There's part of the roof is at 11 or more years, and part is 6 to 10 years. It's just really the skylight issue there. The entrances are barrier-free. The interior is barrier-free accessible. Toilet rooms are all barrier-free. Finishes, the quarry tile throughout is in good condition. Toilet room, for the most part, is in good condition. The sheet vinyl in the pool is in poor condition. The starting blocks are in poor shape. The anchorage for those office immediately finishes in general are in poor shape. The ceilings are in poor condition. A lot of it just would do a roof leaks and piping leaks. The pool roof deck is extremely rusted, and that would be a concern with the humidity in there. Some panels have been replaced. It appears some more should be replaced, and everything should be cleaned up in there. The walls are mostly in good condition, painting required. The interior doors are in good shape. But there's, with the exception of the pool area, are in very poor shape, and toilet and shower partitions should be replaced as well. Life safety, there's a number of exit signs that aren't working or missing, should be replaced. The fire alarm system is good.
A couple of rooftop units, one of them appears to be quite old. You can probably see the rusty ductwork and some of that that's important. Unknown age in the boiler plant, but looks about the renewing end of the slide. Depends on how it's operating. Door system is outdated. All the pictures appear to be in workable condition. As they've had in the pool area, the Mediterranean system is part of the the issue with the rusting of the roof deck. There's no humidification provided in the pool area. That would be a recommendation to maintain the operation. Ductwork and the pool system itself inside appears to be in okay condition. There's only some numbers for the pool. Lighting helmets are similar. Recommend updating the LED lighting during serving. Power system, existing distribution panels are older. There are some secondary panels in the pool that are corroded without covers. We got some of the dangerous situation. And then replacing and repairing that. Security system, yeah, adequate. There's door access system and a small camera system. And fire alarm system is again somewhat adequate.
The administration building here, it's constructed in 1961, an addition around 1994. Appears to be too small for the needs in the layout. It's not good. The exterior does not have a digital sign. Pavement is in poor shape. The part of it's gravel, and that is tough to keep in shape. I know concrete blocks are in okay condition. The building envelope, the brick and block is in decent shape. There's some areas that have some missing brick and some caulking and things that need to be replaced, and where air conditioning units have been taken out, a more permanent cover to be installed. But really, the building layout internally doesn't function well. It appears to be cramped. Roof condition is 6 to 10 years for the flat roof. There are some areas where shingles are falling off on the mansard roof and should be replaced. Is barrier-free, accessible from the parking. Toilet rooms are not barrier-free. The interior finishes are in okay shape. Some of the tile is needs to be replaced or showing signs of overhead leaking. Doors are in good condition.
In the main county here, with the layout, the ventilation is good. Doesn't seem to be adequate to have the office use of the spaces. There's probably lacking some exhaust in the kitchen area. Boiler system is okay. Some corrosion on the pumps. Overall, it's adequate. Control series maybe more outdated than some of the other buildings. I would recommend the updated fixtures and plumbing systems are adequate. Lighting counts is the same, of course, and that's apparently how we usually recommend them. Technology seems to be adequate. Existing power panels. Main power panels seem to be near the end of the slide. In place in the near term. Security and fire alarm. Security seems to be adequate. Fire alarm is old and outdated. Probably needs to be replaced.
Transportation building constructed in 2002. Really, that building is architecturally and civilly looks really good. There's a masonry sign there, which is in good condition. Where the landscaping is starting to get overgrown over there, but everything else, I mean, the asphalt and concrete are good. The building envelope is good. The windows are good. The roof is good, 11 or more years on that. Everything's barrier-free accessible, and here the finishes are good. The life safety is good on that building.
Yeah, this building is in good condition. The required vehicle exhaust systems and maintenance system required controls are, maybe being outdated now, so it could be upgraded with the rest of the building, but newer than some of the rules. Only in good condition. Lighting here is still fluorescence and metal heads, so LEDs is still saving money. Upgrade to those. A lot of electric grids.
When going to the unoccupied buildings, Bart, I'm not sure on the date of this building, but just in general, everything is in poor condition on this building. Site-wise, envelope-wise is in poor condition. A lot of leakage. Doors are in poor condition. Exterior windows broken. Roof system is very poor condition. Lots of leakage there, and interior finishes the same way. It's just in very poor condition. Mold appears to be growing in areas, and it's not in good shape.
Everything I think this building, without knowing how it's working in that, I would assume that most of the stuff is in the appearance of it needs to be replaced. So, the plumbing system is needed to get it. Electrically, the same thing. You have to going up the code and have new panels. Lighting them up to repair the codes.
Boynton, built in 1962 with a library addition in 1992. The pavements are in fair condition, concrete as well. Building exterior walls are in very good condition. The awning windows, there's a lot of glass broken, and the EIFS panels above the windows, there's a lot of damage and repair needed on those. Some of the exterior doors are in poor condition. The library portion, the standalone building, is in poor condition as well. The roof is 6 to 10 years. Accessibility, exterior is compliant. Toilet rooms don't meet barrier-free. Hardware doesn't all meet barrier-free requirements. And the classroom doors do have the required latch-like clearance on them. Interior finishes, the terrazzo's good. The carpet VCT and 9x9 tile in the classrooms and offices is in poor condition. And the ceiling tiles also are in poor condition. Wood doors in poor condition. Life safety, It's pretty good.
Older unit buildings here in the classrooms, some of them have their panels removed, or maybe some parts have been moved to other places, but in our operational, a little bit like the other plant from 87, which is operational, that's because that should be considered a replacement in the near term. Older control system here, definitely need to have a new control system, get the building. One in the fixtures appear to be average condition, and the plus valve needed. Electrically, new lighting, some energy code, updates to fire alarm and fire system, and the new technology. But yeah,
There's chemical bank building, sidewalls, asphalt, and concrete are in very poor condition. Exterior walls, there's a lot of it's poured concrete with exposed aggregate panels. There's extensive water damage to the inside of those walls, possibly through the panels or at the coping at the top of the walls. Aluminum storefront is in good. The roof is 6 to 10 years. ADA does not meet barrier-free requirements. It does have an elevator to the floors. Toilet rooms do not meet barrier-free. Interior finishes, there's been a lot of water damage in this building. Some of the drywall's been pulled out with flooding, but there's this consistent throughout. There's this water damage on walls, floors, ceilings.
the mechanical systems here are outdated, again, and kind of going in the service life, in operational, not immediate, but boiler and chiller plant seems to be in satisfactory condition. Those, again, outdated pictures here at this component. Lighting appears to be in poor condition, damaged fixtures, again, inefficient fluorescent fixtures, limited technology requiring stuff that's maintained well. We do require new technology on new devices. Main distribution electrical panel is older, and if you hard to find parts for it, we need replacement next term. The system is present, but it needs to be replaced. Installation new doors, contacts, and motion detectors. Fire alarm system is having its life and needs to be replaced.
Pit Plains northeast from 1959 to 60. Asphalt exterior concrete's poor condition. Site's long and narrow. It does have area for parking expansion if it's needed. Exterior masonry is in good condition. The classroom exterior walls. There's extensive damage to the EFIS and the window systems. Exterior unit vent louvers have been removed, which allows water into the cavity of the walls. Damages the interior finishes. Soffit and fascia are painted wood that are in fair condition. Roof system is in poor condition. ADA, the entrance from the parking lot does not meet barrier-free. Toilet rooms and hardware do not meet barrier-free. Interior finishes, terrazzo and ceramic tile are in good condition with PCT carpet are in poor condition. Or the ceiling, piecework and doors also in not good condition. Yeah.
The ventilators and factories here appear to be original to the building, so it's 40+ years old. Recommend those being replaced. Boiler system from 1971. and like the BHAS is useful, like, if it is operational, so it's recommended that to replace. Only control system needs to be replaced. Electrically, it's, new lighting, updated, new light system, fire alarm system, added security and steering chief, and new technology, like the added.
Airplanes Northwest, in 1959 to 60. It's not yet a digital sign. Exterior asphalt concrete is in poor shape. The building envelope is in good condition. The doors are in good condition. The hollow metal frames and doors are in good condition. The roof, most of it is 6 to 10 years, with the front portion being 3 to 5 years length. It's barrier free. Toilet rooms are barrier free. Has panics at all the exits. Terrazzo flooring is in good condition. The VCT and carpet and classroom and things is in poor condition. Ceilings are okay. The pier tile, the ones are in poor condition. The walls are in good condition. The casework is in fair condition, as well as the wood doors. Life safety fire alarm is installed, panic hardware is installed, exit signs are in. Small kitchen with a few outdated cabinets.
Again, originally the Valley's building that needs to be replaced was in 1971. You replaced older control system that needs to be replaced. Founding system would be adequate and something repaired. Electrically, new light that we can provide updates to the fire alarm and fire system. With some existing technology, but we need new equipment and devices. And mobility security.
Martindale, the exterior asphalt and concrete in poor condition. We were not able to get into this facility, and we did not go in this building. We're informed that it was due to be demolished in the near future. Roof was in poor shape. Morton. Signage is located on the building. There's no site sign. Site work in poor condition. Block walls and brick are in good condition. Shell wall windows are in good condition. There's some signs on the inside of water intrusion, and that again could be the sealant and caulkings that are needed on the exterior. The roof, part of it's in 11 or more years, and part is 3 to 5 years. Main entry, as far as accessibility, is stair access only. Other entries have accessible ramps. The second floor is only accessible by stairs, so it's not barrier free. Interior finishes, terrazzos in good condition. The ceilings are in poor condition. Walls are in decent condition, and doors are in fairly good condition. Life safety, the only issue is the fire alarm doesn't appear to serve the whole building.
Usually the ventilators and fractions again would be replaced. Boiler here has been damaged and unusable. It needs to be replaced with blood packs with steam, so you can use piping, low tubing lines. Plumbing fixtures are all in full condition, so we replace. If you want to put the plumbing pipe in the electrically, that is a car alarm up to this. And the security should be recommended. There's some existing technology worrying about having new technology.
North Shore Elementary, again, a building we could not access. It appears to be vacant for quite a while, and the exterior brick and block is in poor condition. The windows and the ethos are in poor condition. All the doors are in poor condition, and the roof as well is in poor condition. Sorter, asphalt and concrete in poor condition. Building envelope is in decent condition. Again, sealants and things required. The windows were in good condition with a few panes that have been broken. And glass block infill above doors were broken. The other exterior metal doors, hull metal doors, are in poor shape. Roof system is in good shape with 11 or more years. The path from the parking lot is not barrier free. The toilets are not barrier free. The door hardware is not barrier free. The terrazzo is in good shape. Vinyl tile and carpet in the office areas are not. 12 by 12, the tiered ceilings in the classrooms in poor condition. The suspended ceilings are in poor condition. Walls are in good condition. Casework is in poor condition, and the doors are in poor condition. Life safety is in good shape.
And ventilators here are 20 years old, and panels removed and plastic parts in those, so they need to be repaired or replaced. Oil plant here is in good condition. It appears that 94 all the piping through the closed was abandoned. All the piping was installed overhead, so the piping is in good condition. Controls that need to be upgraded. Some plumbing fixtures are missing, need to be repaired. Plumbing hot water system was also repiped overhead, so that piping is new in good condition. Electrically, we require new lighting. Some panels, like power panels, need to be replaced. Life safety and fire alarm must be updated. New systems. Some existing security salvage, but also need to be updated. And new technology that will be required.
The tech center,
You don't have to go over that one. Just get demolished.
yeah.
It's always demolished already.
The only other one we have is Fairplane West, which we added. And that one is the sign, asphalt, concrete in poor condition. Building envelope is in good condition. There's some overgrowth on it. Some ethos required. Many of the wood windows have been broken. The aluminum doors are in good shape. The roof is in good shape. ADA accessibility, the toilets are not barrier-free, the toilet rooms. Terrazzo floors, again, in good condition. Carpet is not. The DCT that's in the gym and the classrooms, some of the classrooms is good. The ceilings are fair. The walls are in fair condition. The doors are in fair condition. The life safety is good. The ventilators are original to the building and need to be replaced.
boiler system from '86, if it's still operational, return, controls will be replaced. Some fixtures will be repaired, and I think that would cause. Office system appears to be adequate, also the updates. I'm not sure if it's part of the final updates. And security, part of the item, equal policy.
It was mentioned that MLK was probably the most structurally sound building, as far as the Michigan College building. What would be considered the weakest structure as far as structurally? And which building that is now currently closed but to house students is the worst one for ensuring safe and warm? I want to know which one. What of it? We got a structurally sound building that's been built well. Do we have one that really has a lot of material weaknesses that we should be concerned about?
Of the ones you're occupied, no, they're one that Cecil mentioned is concrete that lasts forever. The other ones still that are occupied, the structure is in good shape. There's just a couple that have with chimney. Is an issue that would be a concern.
What hazards does that present for having that chimney?
They're pretty tall, and if those continue to deteriorate, if the brick, for example, started falling off. They're not at that point yet, but they may do something wrong.
Yeah, and I don't know who has the answer in the room for this. I know there's some code written somewhere about how many years the building can be closed before, when you reopen it, you have to bring it up to code. Does anybody in the room have the answer to how many years you close it before we know when you have to bring it up to code?
I don't think anybody has an answer right now because the state has changed. Every couple of years they change what they are saying. Currently, this is as of 2 weeks ago, what they were saying is they took the date restriction off, but any building that you have not occupied has to go through a safety inspection. It's not bringing it up to today's code, but there's also a new energy code that's coming into play, and we're not sure yet how they're going to treat that. But the unoccupied buildings have to go through a safety inspection. They would have to meet the requirements of when they were occupied, or when they were clean.
The safety inspection, they charge us for
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Any other question?
Well, yes, well, I don't know the parameters, which building would be the worst one to reopen. Well, we know there's a couple of them. Bard, Martindale that need to be go off. I was, and seeing, like west and Boynton and northeast and northwest. Is there one of those that's like, yeah, it take a lot of work?
I don't know off the top of my head which one of those. I know Sorter is a good one.
Yeah, I think you mentioned that in the report. Yeah. Does anybody know what a replacement cost would be on a boiler system in high school? Just in the water system?
Yeah, I'm referring to that interesting about.
They gave that update for each building of what it would cost for the mechanical system. Yeah, facility assessment.
Looking at a couple of things, the pre-boiler plan, and also looking at piping, the extent of the piping. I don't even know what extent of the piping that was going to go in terms of. These are, estimates based on experience per square foot. So it turns out to between the two, we'll do piping in the boiler system of more than $2 million.
Okay. Thank you.
Does do our guests have any questions about the facilities assessments that GMD went over today?
Just to comment to Dr. Walker's, WB from that Charter Township, we thank Dr. Walker for securing the Martindale building because, again, it had been abandoned for so long and, we had, squatters in there, it was causing a lot of issues for the township. So I just wanted to say thank you for actually securing that building, so no one can get in it. But again, those abandoned buildings seem to be, of concern, utmost concern to the township as to, what the plans are and if they're gonna be utilized.
Any other questions from the board with the GMD facilities assessment today? Thank you so much.
Yep. Did you want to go over the energy plan or? Yeah. Yeah.
So let's take a break until 10:30. We'll resume at 10:30.
Oh, we're all set up. They need to have it. Yeah. Yeah, we don't do that. Well, it's still residential, so it will stay residential. And if anyone wants to change that, we have one person. I'm sorry, you are. Yes, I
So can we move the questions of the board, can we move that to, under the board business? Okay, because some of those questions are aligned, that way we can all answer that at that time.
Can I just ask one question though?
Yes, ma'am.
Maybe back after this. This is important, Mr. Chairman, and until we know this is very famous. He's the football that the board had identified that in past history, and that has to be issues with wrestling and the he's telling the athletic director and coach that he was given permission on the board from the football. I have not, actually, as you said, we could talk to somebody, so make sure that.
No, he went, when, at the one meeting that the athletic director.
That's one of the questions that has been asked for quite a while.
Right.
And the gentleman, I remember he was at the board and he made a request. I don't think nobody granted a request.
We never granted it.
Asked to meet with the board. Nobody granted that request. Mr. Taylor, I think that's what you're saying.
Right, so Dr. Walker's gonna move her item with the board's item, but she just wanted to discuss Eric, Dixon. So, is it Davis? His last name is not Davis.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's gotta be Dixon. So, he was acting as the junior varsity coach this year. He was the guy that allegedly threatened the, state consultant last year, remember Lisa?
Mm-hmm.
And, he was banned from the school, banned from all sports, and escorted from a football game, by the city police. So he's asking, could he come before the board, even though he already went back to coaching without permission, they allowed him to coach without reinstatement.
Okay.
So my vote would be no.
But is that the normal process?
Well, he didn't follow the process.
Who didn't follow?
He didn't follow.
Okay, but was administration or was they aware that this had happened?
Even the athletic director was aware, because when the new AD came in, there was a letter that said he could not coach.
Why was he permitted to coach?
Well, because the past AD dropped the ball and let him coach. So I'm saying, since he didn't follow the process, remember, we had a guy earlier this year follow the process. He asked us for a closed session to come before the board, the city police officer, remember, and we granted that because he followed the protocol. But this guy didn't. He's been coaching. He says, I didn't do anything, but he was banned. And then when Trey came on, Trey found the letter from the past superintendent that stating that he's not supposed to be on the premise.
If we don't follow procedures, how can we expect that LA students?
I mean, I think the ball drops with the staff. And so what is the question?
And usually, at first, they knew that he couldn't coach because he was told, when usually first started, he was told that Eric Dixon was banned from the practice. I don't know why, but usually maybe was under the assumption because the AD would not tell him, right? But usually knew the year before.
And that no gentleman was repeating from the coach course?
Can you ask a question again?
I mean, are we doing background checks or checking into somebody's history when they come and say, I want to help coach?
They do the volunteer.
Okay.
This is not in this background check. This is a
Okay.
decision of the-
No, it's actually a decision of the consent agreement consultant. Let's clarify that. That's correct.
I wasn't sure.
So that's what I'm ready.
But it's not in this background check.
Okay, all right. So let's get this clear, Mr. Taylor.
Yes, ma'am.
That this decision was based upon the threats he made against the consent agreement consultant. So it was on the state level.
Correct.
The board did not vote on this. I just want to put that on the record, Susan.
That's correct. But the superintendent at that time, Weatherspoon, did approve it based on what the consent agreement consultant told them.
Yeah, things like emergency management consent agreement, it's working.
But it has not been reversed. That decision has not been
Never came
reversed.
back to the board, no.
Okay. And again, we're saying he didn't come back to the board. the staff was aware of the fact that he was not supposed to be, regardless.
He should have
How
been
did that, okay, then that's my question, so what is the problem?
So the problem here is he wants to come before the board.
Okay. And state, just like the other gentleman,
Right. So do we afford him that opportunity, or do we say, yes, he can, or no, he can, based on this matter?
My question is the growth when it comes, because we don't know all the details as to what happened. How are we gonna know how to, weigh both sides and see what happened with her? I know he threatened her, but what actually happened?
Well, he's saying he didn't threaten her, so he's gonna say that. I would say that too. I mean, he said it right in front of us, said, I didn't threaten her. I said, well, we were told you threatened her.
Weigh that out. We didn't make this decision.
Well, it's made at a higher level.
Yes,
because-
so there's question about, so we didn't make the decision.
Correct.
We didn't review the facts. This makes no sense to me.
Well, you got a state official that claimed to be threatened. So they're representing the Department of Treasury. And if she states I'm being threatened, right, then you have to do some actions on that threat, right? And so that was a whole different ballgame, because at that time, Senator Rowe was pretty much in charge of the district because we didn't have our superintendent. So he was in charge. And then the superintendent came, I don't know, weeks later. The interim superintendent.
He followed it up with a police report. He was police. And after that, the final disposition was that he was placed in trespassing situation, not to be on school property in that point forward. And it's never been rescinded since that time. And that was, that he was posting in, I mean, that's something that's staff there, did not have done. No. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, you saw I get hired one. The athletic department hired you. Coaches have to recommend, the athletic recommend hire. I don't think that we can put that on. The coach, the process is that they recommend to the athletic director.
I'm just saying, Coach knew the year before that this guy was not supposed to coach, that's why they didn't allow him to coach. So he's not allowed to coach.
How did he get back in?
The AD,
The former AD.
former AD,
And now the new AD
now
knows.
the paperwork that says he's not supposed to, whatever, right?
And what is he gonna do about it? That's why we're having this conversation.
So he's asking to come back for the inspection.
No. My answer is, the AD needs to recommend that he's not coming straight to the board. That's not our job. He needs to go through the AD needs to make a recommendation. And then if he does, if he actually makes a recommendation that we vote on, and he doesn't like it, then he can appeal to the board. That is our policy and procedure.
Which number policy is that?
I thought policy though said that any citizen, a person can
This is a
appeal.
citizen. This is a guy who wants a position.
But it says that in our policy that any person can appeal to the board. I forgot the policy offhand, but it is in the policy. And I'm just saying, right?
Well,
So
I'll go back and see, because I'm not changing my opinion until I see that. This is a citizen, so.
any citizen
You're
can ask
saying
for a
a
hearing.
citizen who's an employee, so if the teacher doesn't like what happens,
They can
that
ask.
just throws the whole thing out the window.
No, they can ask, because just like we had this year, we had the, ex-police officer come talk to us about, I got charged with a crime, but I want to be a volunteer, and I think he was coaching basketball and football, and baseball. And so he had the right to appeal to the board.
That was only because administration changed the policy and didn't have a vote on the policy. Remember we kept getting that policy change from criteria with the volunteer and change the situation and change the HR.
Right.
So we had recently went to HR to appeal their decision, but it was the enforcement pushed on us to change this policy, which was going to eliminate them from being able to be a part of the volunteer, because I couldn't put it together. I was like, why do we keep on getting this volunteer policy up there? It's something to this. And it was. And when he found out that we didn't vote on that policy, that's when we went against the superintendent who said that and came to the board.
Right.
Because of the, lack of faith that he had in administration bill work, because of what, had been done back door with
now the
HR
policy,
and the superintendent.
but I think the policy does state that you can ask for a hearing.
What's the policy? Policy for citizens is 9135. I'm looking for the policy for, employees.
I think that.
91.
Okay, so we.
Leave 09.
Yeah, she was the one that looked up at the label protocols.
I think that the question is that he wants to come before the board, and I think, it's the question on the table is, does the board afford him that opportunity?
She was filed. The original complaint filed. We don't can do that. Do that after someone.
So there's a file. There's a file that has the one that the lady and discussed in that file. So when conversation with HR, I ended up electing you, I thought it is actually that because for you to ask people to get what they like and say, well, I don't take it for this. So that's how it's actually been for a decision, because coach was like, more likely to be a coach, something, whatever. So the paperwork is there, it's evidence, the event that occurred, it's in the record. So here, and it's formally, it's signed off on a letter to the gentleman stating that he could not be on premises. So when we found out about it, we sent him a second letter and confirmed he could not be on premises, and that's the draft.
Personally, after receiving that letter, the first time around, he never abided by the terms because he was at everybody. I thought and so he thought that what we had said do was just blowing in the wind, so I'm not doing anything.
So that's what Mr. Kelly said, was the question was, he was violating the law.
He's out there cooking hot dogs and rotten, but remember at the football game?
And he still participated beyond the ban.
Well, when the city was wrong, I figured out the this is the point of the game.
It's bad. He is a
And
no
then
bet.
I didn't know, I didn't make anything. So when I see him, I was like, oh. Then I was like, but I didn't know who was volunteering football and not work. But I mean, the AD secretary,
I don't think he was volunteering. They asked if they were going to release him. He got the paid position.
He was the JV coach.
Then can we say no? Can we, is there a motion? I mean,
I think we can say,
deny.
I think based on his actions, that there is a no trespass clause still in his file. That's why the police removed him from the football game, because they said there was no trespass in the property.
And I think we dropped the ball. He should have never been reinstated without the proper, protocol for him being allowed. And that's what I'm asking right now. Can we make a decision if this board is to deny any reinstatement? Because if he's not gonna follow the procedure, I'm not willing to, so.
Well, and I'm with you, but I just want one more clarification, because we're talking about a citizen and I'm reading this policy, and I'm thinking, well, I don't see that.
9130.
Yeah, this is a paid position.
Football,
Well, then why are we even discussing this? He wasn't a private citizen when he committed the acts. He wants a paid position. If the AD wants if he wants to recommend this guy to be a coach and to rescind his letter, then the AD doesn't do it. This is not about a citizen coming and saying, hey, I was paid to do this, and now I'm not, and it's because of this letter. That's not
Well, I know, but,
When this originally happened, he was a volunteer, he was
Okay.
not employed.
okay,
Since the trespass order was placed on him, he came back the following year, applied for a coaching position.
they got it.
Even though he knew he was still there. And he
Okay.
did it anyway. Athletic director hired him.
Well,
And he knew.
but if he's looking for a paid position, right? That's what he's looking for. They want to hire him to be a coach, right?
right, which is still a volunteer coach, but yeah,
Well, but if he's paid,
yes.
then it's not a volunteer.
Correct.
If he's
Well-
being paid,
Well, but he's, are the coaches of the Ben Harbor area schools?
They come through EduStaff.
EduStaff, not Ben Harbor area schools, that's EduStaff.
They come through EduStaff.
Yeah.
So one of the things that the new athletic director did put into place that we were asking for all of last year was a cleaner process around the coaches with the background check, paperwork, fidelity check every 2 weeks to make sure, because what we found is the coaches had a tendency to let people volunteer. You see that in the Misha situation, hang out, be a part of it.
Yeah.
And they hadn't been clear, they hadn't even talked to the district, like, we didn't even know. And I say we, but not me, I wasn't here. So in this situation, from what I'm understanding about this gentleman, it was similar to that. So he was banned by the Centurion consultant over whatever happened in a whole other situation, a whole other role. So people who knew about that knew about it.
okay. But so I got it. Thank you.
Okay.
So here's my opinion.
Okay.
For what it's worth.
Yes, ma'am.
If he wants to come back and be a paid employee, then it comes through the AD, and the AD is going to have to request us.
He already
select
recommended
That's
that.
We recommended
That's
to
what
Dr.
he's
Walker.
already
through
done.
Dr. Walker.
And
Then he needs-
I'm saying, no, I would not do it either. But again, we're talking to President Taylor, we are under the impression he needs to come before the board, and I'm not willing to recommend him to the board based on what I want. So
Then
I'm, but
Then
I
no.
think I have to give you all that
Yes,
option,
yes.
and that's what this conversation is.
You have to recommend he not be hired. How about that? You recommend he not be
I
hired.
recommend that the board not hire Eric
Can we,
Dixon.
can we get this in writing though?
Absolutely.
You know, I would prefer that we really cover ourselves, that he not be hired. Then to your point about, a citizen complaint, if he's talking about wanting to be a volunteer, and this is still hanging over his head, we do have control over volunteers.
But yet he still is, if he's not in a position, he still holds the status as a citizen.
Not if he's
Unfair.
asking for a volunteer, not if he's
But
wanting to
his
be hired.
status, his current status is a citizen, if he's not employed.
I think I'm a little bit confused because we don't vote on the coaches. So how are we gonna vote now?
Why would we not, if it's a paid
He's
position?
asking for an appeal of the board for the decision to not bring him back.
Right.
He wants to make an
Okay.
appeal to you all. And so you all.
Tell him to put it in
what's
writing
place,
and we'll
has
vote on
to- He did.
So if we doing an appeal, we
He
gotta
sent
this
me a
in.
letter,
It's
no,
due
he
process.
gave me a letter and asked to come before the board. So I said to President Taylor, no, I would not like to, but my understanding as well
Yes.
is that it has
I
to
agree.
come to the board. So that's why but the question is, and so Mr. Chillis said, the question is the board even willing to hear from him before, so that's the
So why
question.
not, here's what I would say, why not just give him that due process and say no? So allow him to meet, and if it's no, it's no. Then he can never go back and say, well, he didn't have, due process.
And then we can ask the questions about, did you attend these games knowing that you were banned from this school? And did you apply for a job without even coming before the board?
Well,
That way he'll have a clear understanding.
I mean, I'm just saying, if we want to do things the right way, let's allow him to.
What are we giving him due process as? An employee,
He's not
a
employed in our
volunteer,
area schools. He's not
a
an
citizen? That's what I'm saying. We gotta find out what we giving him due
You
process
give anyone
as.
due process. A school teacher can ask for a hearing with the
That's an
board.
employee.
Yes, as it goes through the channels.
Right.
And
I'm
this is
just-
going through the channels, right? It's come to the AG, it's come to you, and you're recommending that we
Not hire him.
not hire him, and
he's
then we
asking-
vote on it.
He's
So he
asking for a
came
hearing,
back and
and
said,
he
well, then I
speaks to
want
the
to come
board.
before the board.
So I mean, I don't want to belabor on this. We only got an hour left.
Okay.
I know, I
He's
just, I just want to
technically
say,
a former employer, because even if you work for EduStaff, you are considered an
They're
employer in Benton Harbor.
employees.
I cannot work for EduStaff and take a position in Benton Harbor area schools because I'm on the board.
I'm
So-
just saying he's a contract
So,
employee.
he's kind of, he is an employee, was an employee, so
I mean,
I don't know if that makes it, but let's do what
so
we have
I
to
guess,
do.
my concern is, every time we have somebody come before the board, there's an investigation process. So at the point when Mr. Mitchell told the superintendent that he was not to be there, was he then removed from being on the premises?
I don't know about that, but I think that did the ADs remove him from coaching
Oh, absolutely.
and not
Or
showing
did-
back up?
So
Absolutely.
did
Put
the
it in writing.
superintendent tell the AD, or did the AD discover the letter?
The
Because
AD got the information.
The AD got
From
the
the
information.
letter and from conversations, I believe, with these gentlemen, and he brought it to my attention. I had a conversation, talked to HR, did an investigation, found the document to substantiate the information. We were like, why is he employed? So we immediately sent him a letter and said, you, under no circumstance can you, and told him no. And then he wrote a letter back and appealed and said, but that's not the true story, which none of us can argue because none of us were here when it happened. So then the response was, we're saying no, you will have to appeal to the board.
Okay.
So that's
That-
the details we
But
need.
as an employee, or as a former employee who is looking to be rehired and is not going to be because of this letter, is that clear? Is that it?
Well, I think what it is someone came they sent you the guys a letter. Everybody here got the letter from Eric Dix. He sent the letter to the board. The question on the table is, are you going to afford him a hearing? And so that's
We got a letter?
yeah, that's was sent in a weekly memo. I forgot a month ago, 2 months ago.
And trust me, I don't remember things that happened 2 months ago.
Yeah.
So if you don't refer back to that, forget it.
So I would say
Because it happened.
let's pause. And Dr. Walker, if you could just get clarification from us, from the AD or whatever, and maybe we can bring this back or to the board just to ask if we want to do this at our next board meeting.
What's my clarification?
I guess the clarification is, his recommendation, he recommended that he be hired for a coaching position, the AD.
And I don't want to use the recommended, he was saying that coaching was like for him to be a coach.
That's the
And
recommendation.
if, right, from coaching, and with him not having context either, he wasn't gonna stand in the way, because he's still running this thing on. And, so he passed it through to me. I told Mr. Dixon he would have to write the letter that I gave to you all in the memo to ask you if you would be willing to consider hearing from him. He came to a board meeting to talk to you all, but he missed the time of your public comments.
Well,
That was a choice that he had a right to make, but he missed it. So in that world, I was done with it, because he missed it, or he can come and talk to you all, and, in that setting. Because I was not willing to bring him to the board based on his request. So then he talked to President Taylor.
I do believe that we need, if he appeals, but what he needs to do is apply for the position, be denied, and go through that appeal process and then come to the board.
Is everybody
Does that work for you as well?
So that the AD, the responsibility is going to be on the AD to get the information together, put it together, and he has to actually apply for a
How
position.
did he get the position in the first place? He had to have applied. That's what, how was he operating in that position? Did he violate the process by somebody just giving him a position? Did he already apply?
Yes.
And was
Yes.
accepted?
Yes.
So why does he need to reapply?
Because of this letter that was not discovered. That is.
He already knew that he couldn't do and shouldn't be. Who are we? So I'm confused. Why does he need to reapply?
Because we're saying you're fired. And if he doesn't like the fact that,
saying you're fired.
well, wait, we're saying we won't renew a contract, right?
But he doesn't have one.
Right,
Did
there's
he
no
get
contract
But
for
you're
these
telling me
positions.
they want a contract with him. They want to hire
I
him.
don't, well, again, I don't think they do contracts. I think that they hire their coaches through EduStaff, but I would have to ask HR. They probably have to sign a written agreement.
Well,
Because
yeah,
they
you're telling me
really-
Ed staff is hiring somebody without a contract and paying them money?
I'm gonna say it like this, and I think it goes back to Ms. Gass to what, the question of why we had to address that process, and we have. And just my lens of watching it happen over the last year and a half, was it was not structured. And as I mentioned, coaches were, what I'm told, notorious for bringing people on. Mr. Mitchell said it a minute ago, letting them support, and at the end of the season, asking for the district to pay them. That's what had been the practice. That's what it was.
Well, that's different than they were on as a volunteer and then they're coming
Well,
back
that's
after
what-
the fact and saying, would you pay them?
That's
I don't
what
want, I
this
only
guy
want,
tried to say has happened.
just, we need more information from the AD.
This is so much. Because back when I thought the whole situation was being addressed with the volunteers and the coaches, back before when Carlton came before the board. That was the whole thing. We gotta get these processes in place. We gotta make sure these volunteers are this and that. And I thought that was being implemented back then. That was last year. Now we got somebody that straight came through the gate, a violator. Somebody could have died.
Because of the AD? And that AD's not here
But
anymore,
who did he apply with?
right? You
Not
gotta go
HR?
AD.
You, so the coaches go straight to the AD, not HR. So do they submit the form, the
They're
application to HR?
They're supposed to, and apparently that process was not followed. So,
Mm.
exactly right. So that's how he was discovered, because the process was not followed. Once we found out the process wasn't followed,
They
removed
hired
him from the positions.
So can we just make a recommendation at our next board meeting, he shows up, we go in the open code session? I mean, you're gonna, we can't just keep belaboring over this.
No, but I want information from the AD. I want it in writing, the entire mess in writing for us to then say, and he wants to appeal whether or not he can apply again to be, because it's moot now.
Okay,
The
so,
season's
so
over.
Dr. Walker, so
It'll come
that's a
from
good
every-
suggestion.
And I will put it all into one
With,
summer.
with all the background information from the AD.
Wait, I have a question. So has it been straightened out? You know, so these coaches who are volunteering and then at the end of the season, they want to be paid, so none of those
We're not
people
doing it that way.
got paid.
We're not doing it that way. So yes, it's been straightened out. So that was one of the first things that I asked Trey to do when he came. It was frustrating for us. We had numerous times where we would discover people were working with teams and then they were asked to be paid, despite what HR's telling me they had met with the former athletic director about, and eventually I had a conversation with them about the process and required me to not follow what he did. That's a part of why you guys resigned. So again, we have to put it all back into context, right?
Okay, so our former AD
The former
is the
AD
one that did
did
not follow the
yes,
rules.
on a
So
multitude of
this new guy
we-
is following
And we
the
will,
rules.
another thing I'll do to your question, I think this is relevant, is bring with this information, the process and the paperwork of how coaches are brought into the
Okay.
fold as of next.
So I think we need to move on, and so Dr. Walker, if you would just take those recommendations and bring them back to the board, right, so.
And the answer will be yes.
Mr. Mitchell?
Before we leave this, we have in the past stated how many coaching positions there are per sport. So let's take football for example. You have a head coach and maybe 4 assistant coaches listed as for football. And you have a JV coach that we pay for, right? And you have a volleyball coach and JV coach that we pay for. So we have a listing of how many paid positions we have. Now, where does volunteer stuff come from? Why do these teams always have to have 4 or 5 other hanger-oners to do their job?
We think we've stopped that. It was a past practice, just as you said, to try to get the former AD to not allow that practice. He was not in completing that request. Hence, we're now having a new AD. He gets it. He's following the process. He's doing this. I'll bring the process to you all and show you how we're safeguarding, to your question,
Okay.
that issue.
When did we move the athletic coaches to Edgestown?
I have no idea. That was, I think, before my time.
I think it tied in with not having certified teachers that qualified or wanted to coach. So by going through EduStaff, you didn't have to have a teacher certification.
But that had to happen this last contract, because the one that we were involved with, they were still
listed
under the teachers, so that just happened since that.
I mean, yeah, it's first I've heard of that. That's why.
Because you used to have the secondary teachers that would do the coaching, and we don't have any secondary teachers doing that anymore.
So we're gonna just move on, if that's okay, Ms. Mitchell. Bring information, so Dr. Walker, you wanted to take off the CIO job description?
Yes, we'll put that on hold, yes.
So we're gonna put that on hold. Onto the MASB Board of Education.
Oh, wait, can we do the employment of the administrative staff?
Yes, that's the Scott Johnson position?
Yes.
Okay.
So, employment of administrative staff, the board must vote to approve the employments of the following administrative staff in accordance with the revised school code and other general laws of Michigan. Carolyn Gibbs, Executive Director of Finance and Operations. Recommended action that the Benton Harbor Area Schools Board of Education votes to approve the employment of the aforementioned administrative staff.
All right. May I have a motion for the approval of staff report number 1?
So moved.
Moved by Margie Gass. May I have support? Supported by Mitchell.
Excuse me.
So moved by Gass, supported by Mr. Mitchell. Any questions, comments, concerns regarding staff report number 1?
Why don't we have our computers?
No, she said, why don't we have our computer? For the retreat, I don't know, because normally technology would bring that in. So. But that's the same, this recommendation was given to us Tuesday at the board table with the application, well, not the application, but the job description and his resume.
Right, I saw that. Her, I thought it was female.
It is.
Her, I apologize.
Okay.
And so this is the person that would be taking over Scott Johnson's position. Mr. Mitchell?
Joseph Taylor,
Yes.
Steve Mitchell, yes. Aletta Seats, Angelique McDonald,
Yes.
Martha Melvin,
Yes.
Margaret Gass,
Yes.
Lisa Bell.
Yes.
All right, staff report number 1 passes. On to the MASB Board of Education Governance Standards. Dr. Walker.
I think that's Ms. Mummy.
Ms. Mummy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's no problem. And we get it here as a staff report, but we don't necessarily have to vote on it. But Dr. Teasley wants to have an update on whether we are going to look at this and go through the process and look towards adopting this, or what we're going to do.
So we're not mandated to adopt it?
I don't find anything, and in the letter, I was gonna print it off, but it's printed in a light green, and my printer doesn't print it, so we can read it, but it just, the question was, where is the board on adopting school governance? And I have not found anything, but school governance wasn't completed when we signed the partnership.
Right.
So I don't know, I mean, it looks to me like it's an involved process, but we'd have to sit down at a meeting and go through it and look at it before we adopted it. So I don't know if we are interested If we're not interested, then I'll let her know, and if at some point the state says it's mandatory, then we'll have to take another step, or if we want to go ahead and look at it and possibly adopt it.
So what's the wish of the board? We don't have to adopt anything today, but
No, that's
maybe
great.
look over that to see if that's something we want to do. If we want to entertain it. I mean, it's just a recommendation, right, from Michigan Association of School Boards. It's not a mandate.
And if you
I
go,
say let's table it till we get down to partnership agreement.
and all that information on that, both how to do it and the whole document
Okay.
was, Sue attached it to this so that you could check it out. It is quite extensive. So, okay, so we're gonna table it. It's table,
To your next, maybe to the next meeting, just to discuss it.
okay,
And that gives us enough time to peruse that document.
yeah, so please look at that document and
We really don't need more to do.
look, I'm just giving you bedtime reading.
So if we're gonna table this to the next meeting, I need a motion. Yes, ma'am.
So moved that we table, or I move that we table, the MASB Board of Education Government Standards Review.
Okay, moved by trustee Gaddis. May I have support?
Support.
Supported by trustee Gully.
Lisa Gully,
Yes.
Margaret Gass,
Yes.
Martha Momini,
Yes.
Angelica McGowan,
Yes.
Arletta C, yes. Stephen Mitchell,
Yes.
Joseph Taylor.
Yes. Okay, so, the BHAS security contract review. Just wanted to make sure that the board sees this contract. So Dr. Walker, are we in the process of continuing or discontinuing this contract?
So it's a contract that can be discontinued at any point with a 30-day notice. I have asked that we give them 30-day notice as well as I personally talked to the gentleman to let him know that we do not want to operate under this type of contract.
Do we have to have any evidence that they didn't fulfill the contract or anything? This is just, would we decide for any reason? Okay, so we want to make sure we're not getting into problems where we're going to be paying somebody for not working.
Yeah, for these guys, it's just a 30-day notice, and so that can start November
I think it's
No.
or December. I mean, the contract ends, what?
December 15th.
Yeah.
We gave them a 30-day notice. It was right around November 15th.
Okay.
So now I do believe, and I'm not positively sure, and Mr. Winter may know more in my conversation with him, we did discuss the option because we are using staff in 2 of the 4 to 5 buildings that he could, because again, when you think about edu staff employees that are also again hired to work in the districts through for our safety people, that he could talk to HR and see if they could be a vendor that we could consider using for security type reasons. So I did tell him to have that conversation. I did support that.
I would tell them to leave the district. I mean, look at the amount of this money compared to our security guys. So why would we want to continue with a service agreement either way? Look at the amount of money these guys are getting.
I think it's, and I would, maybe you could speak to that. I didn't think it was vastly different. Maybe I'm wrong. I think it's not vastly different. Just the one person who they had assigned to be their supervisor of their staff, I think got more. But the rate for the edu staff and for security, I believe it's right at the, it might have been more, if I'm not mistaken.
In certain applications and instances where we've chosen to use BHAS, yes, it does cost more with the edu staff employees.
But it was by hour? Is it like the $2.59 difference?
I can't specifically, I don't know the specifics on top of it.
So you're saying that edu staff employees make more than $22.59?
Some of them.
That's a billable rate. $22.59 is a billable rate.
Well, that's on the contract though.
Right.
We don't, so we're looking at, that's real, right? So
No,
that
it is
is
real, sir. It is the billable rate, is what you, the district, pays.
Right.
Just like with edu staff, what they make per hour is not what you, the district, pays. You pay a 20% increase on whatever the thing, so it's same basic thing. So when we look at apples to apples, when we sat down with HR and went through the different numbers, we were looking at what was the most cost effective for the district. We looked at what it cost the district, not what people got paid.
So can you say that back again? So the
Yes.
these are the billable rates of $22.59 for VSS. Do we know the billable rate for edu staff who get employed as security? Do we have, because maybe we need to get that
We have
information?
looked at
I don't know.
that. I do not have that information
I don't know.
currently at
Would
this
you
moment.
like me to get that?
No, my recommendation is we'll use some effort. I mean, why do we keep, I mean, that's money that's just, you could utilize somewhere else.
Can I speak to another why? We are not finding staff, we don't have enough bodies to fill the positions. People run into issues with background checks and things like that. So this gives us another venue when we have the need, it provides for people. And edu staff cannot provide enough people for the positions we have. That was definitely another issue we have. That's why, like, for example, with secretaries and other professionals, we now use Express Scripts and edu staff because of that same type of issue where the work pool is so small. And so trying to find people to fill those positions is where I would be concerned. We're asking them to all be employed at the edu staff. I don't know if we're finding people that we need those positions.
I'm with Mr. Taylor, I say no, and then I would need something in writing from edu staff to say that they can't fill those positions. I just can't just let you say that and think that that's it. I just can't believe that nobody is like skilled right nowhere for that job. Like, I just can't believe that. And when you all bring this to us and you say apples to apples, we need to see is this the green apple or the red apple? We need to see both of the apples. Don't just say that. I mean, I don't believe nothing nobody say. You're gonna have to show me because it's been too much inconsistent with the truth for me to just say, oh, okay. I'm not gonna say, oh, why are you talking over me? Point of order.
Go ahead, man.
See, okay. So, I'm with Mr. Taylor.
Second, Mr. Mitchell.
Well, I was just looking, in perusing this contract. The rate of pay that the staff at the high school gets per hour is not comparable to what I'm seeing in front of me. $22.59, I don't care if it's billable or unbillable, is what they see in their check. And they're not making close to this. This thing talks about 280 hours a week to start, 7 full-time officers, 1 officer in charge, 2 security. I mean, for what I understand, we have 2 people at Hull, 1 or 2 people at MLK, 2 people at ACA currently. Well, was it the intent to at some point include the edu staff people under this services?
No, sir. So when that service was initially secured, the intent was, again, because we do have administrators, I can speak to them specifically who went out to find the security. I can really talk to people because edu staff did not have anyone that was in their system that could do the work. So the initial intent was to get bodies into the schools immediately and to see how having a service that had this particular type of background and credential could benefit the district. That was the intent of the study.
So I think that if you're looking for applicants, and I'm not, and I said this before, edu staff is not user friendly as far as people to apply, local people to apply. It would be much simpler if we had do it through our own HR here in this building, that we have put on our website also, that we have openings for security staff and have them apply here. I mean, and then send them through edu staff. But them going directly to edu staff, that's cumbersome for a lot of people.
I just had a question in terms of what we're talking about, and I don't need a hard number, but I'm assuming with staff that, security staff that are district employees, well, you're talking about our people. Who are our people then?
Well,
Then they're all VSS?
Or EduStaff.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
But they're not Benton Harbor.
Well, okay, EduStaff, okay, I'm sorry. EduStaff, I'm assuming is us. So where I'm talking about, the question I want to have answered is, we are paying a flat rate per hour for these people, and I'm assuming benefits are included with the EduStaff people.
No.
Then why would they be more money than this group?
So that's what, okay.
That doesn't make an ounce of sense to me.
Well, this is what is in place right now for the HR department that came from the structures that were put in place when Barry and Lisa adopted Benton Harbor's HR. EduStaff was identified as the sole source initially vendor of extra services. So they cover our secretaries, our custodians at the time, our maintenance, our security, our substitute teachers. They all come out of this pool that EduStaff acquires. Okay. So there is a fee that we pay EduStaff for every one of those people that they send to us, in addition to the salary of that staff. And none of those people have benefits. We don't pay for their
So a
benefits.
one-time fee?
No.
Is that what you're talking about?
Per hour fee.
Per
A per hour
employee,
fee.
per hour,
Okay,
per employee.
got it.
So that's when we talk about that standard rate of $22.59. That does not mean that's what the VSS employee gets on their paycheck.
Yeah.
Again, I would have to get these numbers for you all. I don't know them either. But there is a standard rate that is paid to EduStaff per hour per employee that's in Benton Harbor. There is a standard rate that is paid to Express Scripts for the secretaries.
Got it.
Right? And so these people have no benefits.
Got it.
The security guards were provided by the city of Benton Harbor previously. And that contract, when that contract expired, it was recommended to us by the previous superintendent that we put them on EduStaff because it would be cheaper than what we were paying through the city of Benton Harbor. So it wasn't a decision of Barry and Reeson, it was a decision of the Board of Education. So we have the control over how we employ our security and whom they have the contract with. Because it was brought to us that we was going to save money through EduStaff, and as opposed to the city of Benton Harbor, because that contract had expired. So administration came to us and said, this is the best route to go because it's going to save you about, I think it was about $10,000, $10,000 or $15,000. So they knew that they weren't going to get benefits any longer, but they were supposed to get all this training to be able to, be like, what are those kind of officers? Not police officers, but safety officer or whatever. They're supposed to get all this extensive training. That's what was brought to us. And this was supposed to happen through the department that was going to be over security. So it wasn't through Barry and Lisa, it was because we were saving money. So I guess, I don't know how we want to handle this in the future with our security guards that we have and we've been employed for years. I don't see that us going into someone else who are not familiar with our kids. I don't want these strangers around my children to be trying to be security.
Masons sometimes allow a strange woman.
He knows you. Please believe he knows you.
Okay, what I would like to see as we pursue this, the bottom line cost of, say, going through EduStaff for security, bottom line cost of us going through our own, hiring our own security, and no matter who we have, there needs to be some training. We are running into way too many problems, and especially with the new laws that the state has instituted, of what we're going to do with children who are having difficulty adjusting to being in an academic situation. And that's the bottom line. We've got to do what is going to help our students learn to adjust and handle and understand that kind of situation so they have futures.
Well, that's a great comment, Mark, and I agree totally. A couple of years ago, Scott Johnson did a apples to apples comparison. I don't know if you remember that, but that's when the city issue came up. And the question was, how, if Ben Harbor area schools took the security, custodial, and maintenance staffs back under Benton Harbor control as at-will employees, excluding, the benefit package and retirement and all of that. How does that compare? How would that compare to what we're paying the third-party contract? Scott's projection was at that time that it would be cheaper for us to employ these people. Now, there has to be a markup, administrative markup on CSM, because back when we dealt with them a couple of years ago, it was 30% of the contract was, an administrative cost. I'm sure there's a cost for VHS, 20-30% of the contract. Edge staff, the same thing. What added value have they brought to us over the years? I haven't seen any added value.
So we do need to include benefits and retirement and stuff in there because that's part of our total cost. We gotta have the total cost. Because, and I don't know what's changed and what the figures will show now with the new retirement system that the state has put in place. I'm not sure, but yeah, we can't just say, well, we're gonna pay them. We gotta include the whole.
Yeah.
I mean, because there was like I got like $30,000 a year worth of benefits on my salary.
I don't know how he did it.
Yeah.
I think he added, but he did not add any medical or any retirement.
But we'd have to do that because we have to pay that if they're our employees.
Part-time employees.
I mean, because they're okay. So, but that's what we need to know. Are they going to be part-time? And then if they're part-time, they don't get the medical benefits and retirement system. And is that what we want? Just give you all the day.
I need to know because that's my question about what I feel concerned for the district that the employees are not district employees in housing center because of the nature of the work, the expectations as the district evolves, the accountability variables that we don't control. There are a lot of pieces here. They don't get benefits. They don't have that extra support that typical people have when they're off. They don't get paid. It's a lot to that. I don't know the why, so as Ms. Goldie pointed out, there were some other variables, and I don't know the whys. I can just speak to what it is and what we're operating under.
Most of them are paid out of 32 days.
31 days.
Yeah, for the summer, yeah, the security, that's the 31 day does allow us to use that.
Well, even if it's something costs more and we feel it is worth it for our students, then we can do that. But then we have to realize something else has to give. That extra money has to be cut from someplace else.
We can, this $125,000 contract, we can cut that real quick.
Yeah, because I think, Martha, you said the best thing today, and Lisa, because local people know our students. They're community people. They know Jessica, Amy, Joseph. They know these kids. They see them in the communities, and they're more likely to listen, right, and be involved with our students.
Yeah, you know that person's got your grandma's phone number.
Right. Mm-hmm. So I think we have to look at that, and sometimes it's not about savings because maybe we should have brought CMS back. We should have just.
If it's going to change the atmosphere in our buildings and it costs us more, fine. But we do have to realize then that we have to take away from something else, and we have to make that hard choice.
And also realize that these local people have kids and cousins and everything else that may change their minds to come back here.
One more thing too, guys, when we were at the Treasury workshop, the ex-state senator, ex-superintendent, ex-consent agreement consultant, his statement was, you make sure you have local people involved in your school.
Who was it? Was this one person?
This was one person.
Oh, okay.
And so because when he took over for Albion, right, and then another district, he says what he found was making sure you keep some of those local people in there because they are the community. So he said you need the local people as part of your workforce. That was, I mean, he was adamant about it, right? He was adamant about speaking to that secretary, that janitor, because they're going to tell you what goes on in the district. And he was a person who didn't agree that the state knew what they were doing, but taking over schools. So he disagreed with that. So, I mean, to me, his
So that's why he's
presentation was
XXX?
Yeah, I mean, but I mean, so this is coming from a state senator, right?
Yeah.
I mean, but he said, local people, you need to put local people back into your community and your community's district.
It was done as a cost saving, but maybe should have been cost saving someplace else.
So, Dr. Moore, are you saying that you have, given them the 30 days?
So can I get clarity on exactly where this board wants to be? Do you want?
Excuse me. I'm sorry, I apologize, Your Honor. I made this for clarification. It's my understanding that when we give 30-day notice, that means we are terminating services with them entirely.
Yes, we are.
So those positions will no longer be made.
Yep, that is correct.
Yeah, we need to.
Just wanted to make sure.
And may I ask, if that is the case, what will we put in place to ensure that there's no gap in services? And I do agree with local people. My main concern is the quality. I believe in local, but I believe in quality too. So we need to address immediately that there is no gap in services. If we're saying 30 days, then Monday or whatever, or when the holiday's over, we need to start getting people in position to take those positions. So we don't have a gap.
And I am concerned we will have to put that out there for the board. I'm not confident that there are going to be staff that are going to meet the qualifications and the quality to come in.
We got a lot of
as
quality
staff.
people in Benton Harbor. I wasn't minimizing
Right,
that,
and I
so
agree with you.
it's not what I'm saying. It's just we need to ensure that everybody goes through background checks. Everybody knows what the policies are. Everybody knows everything, and there's accountability in place. That's all I'm saying.
Well,
so
no, I was just going to say.
Don't get rid of one and then we put.
Well, but we got to get rid of that. They're too much money.
I'm not, but that's not.
So to your point, Monday morning, Mr. Mayor, Dr. Walker should be calling EDGE staff, say, hey, by January, right, we need X amount of.
Whenever the 30 days is all, it needs somebody in place.
And again, I just want to make it on the record that I'm concerned that that won't be met based on what we've tried to do just to hire the staff we have. So I just want that to be on the record. And if you all know people, encourage them to apply. I think Mr. Mitchell's point of the processes behind EDGE staff, people do find them cumbersome and difficult. And I just can speak to what he did. When I talk to HR, I've never directly worked with EDGE staff. And when I talk with HR about why we don't have positions filled, I'm consistently told they're not here. So I just want to make that known to the board because it would be detrimental to us to not have staff in place in those areas.
So let me, I need to be clear. So we have no choice right at this very moment in terms of replacing this group of people, but to use EDGE staff. We have to use it. Is that what you're telling me?
That is my understanding, that that is the company that the Marion Lisa HR department works through, correct?
And do we have recourse if they say we can't find the employees? What is the recourse? Because there has to be one. If they can't find them, then I guess, then we need to appeal to whomever to say, we'll find them ourselves and have them come to our.
But all that would take was a vote from us, right? To say we were going to hire them as our own employees.
And then you get back into the benefits conversation. And with all of that takes time in the process, and we're talking about 30 days and 2 buildings that we cannot be without security. So my approach had been to talk to the SS, ensure they understood we did not intend to stay in contract, but have them talk to HR so that, because I know we have a need until we figure out where we're going with this.
So we haven't yet given them the 30-day notice.
No, I gave them the 30-day notice that we were no longer going to be under contract. And he explained to me that they do 30 days.
Oh,
okay. Right. So then I said, well, if that's the case, because I know I'm concerned that we may not find the people to fill these positions that are quality, that can pass the background checks, things of that nature, that I asked him to go talk to HR to see how and what they do to bring people on to be vendors, because I don't know that process. And if he were a vendor through HR, then we could secure staff through their company to ensure we have bodies in positions that are critical to the safety of our schools. Now, I'm not saying edu staff cannot eventually find them. I hear you all. I'm no expert on that. I can just speak to what I know we've been through. And I know we've had administrators literally going around trying to find people they knew that had served in that role because those positions were open, because edu staff had no candidates. That I can speak to. But I don't know the why. People didn't know about the positions, to Mr. Mitchell's point, or if they knew about them, the process to apply was difficult. I do know that I have been informed on a number of occasions that many people who apply cannot attain the job because of their background checks. They have records, a lot of people. But I can't quantify that, and I can't say who these guys.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is if we will be able to continue to use these people until we're able to replace them with our own staff. Is that what I'm hearing?
I hope
For
it's not
30
a contract.
It's not a contract.
So is it rolling 30 days?
If I may, actually, you are exactly correct. It's a rolling 30 days. This is an agreement when we set up the original pricing structure, because we had an identified need in multiple buildings that we were trying to staff with immediacy with trained individuals that were coming out of a license. In the state of Michigan, it is required that an organization be licensed with LARA to be considered or called security agency. This was just the original agreement, and as you add people, it decreases the hourly rate. So there's a fluctuation in the rate charges depending on how many people they have to set up all their overhead and everything else, like any other organization. We have with VSS the opportunity, which Dr. Walker and myself verified directly with the Vice President of VSS last week, the ability at any point in time to give a 30-day notice stating, we are done. Thank you very much. Extract your people in 30 days. And that's the end of it. They have also come back, to Dr. Walker's point, and offered other options that have provided a number of K-12 systems in northern Indiana that range from student support personnel, hall monitor personnel, actual security, all the way up to armed security. They are integrated in with the local PD here. So they are a well-integrated organization in this community. A number of our local law enforcement officers actually work for VSS on the side, just so you're aware. So as far as the flexibility that is there for you, the only concern, and I'll echo what Dr. Walker had said, is that if we put a 30-day notice in, effective date, because I have not formally sent a written one until we got clarity on exactly what it was and what it meant. I can do that whenever you direct me to. But at that point in time, we need to all be aware, I believe, that you will not have those employees in those buildings within 30 days. So if there's not a contingency plan to staff that we really believe is achievable, then that means those buildings will go unstaffed in those positions.
Well, from what I've seen them do, job performance at the buildings they're in, they're not doing a hell of a lot anyway. They're opening and closing the front doors. So if we have to wait to find other people on for that, now we're coming into the Christmas tournaments at the high school. And over the past 2 to 3 years, our people that have been with us for years were only offered $10 an hour for an athletic event. And I see overtime rates for these people at $30 and $45 an hour.
They're actually charged the straight rates or just declared.
Well, what's in the contract? That's what I'm reading. I don't care what the charge is. That's in the contract.
So I just
And I just want to speak to Mr. Mitchell's point. We just got a report of, I've never seen VSS at a school. And I drop my son off every day at school. I don't see him there. And we just got a report of the police being called. ACA is out of control. And police was called at just about every school this week, and it still did nothing happen but with the security. So I'm with Mr. Mitchell. I don't see what they're doing. I don't see the thing. The whole drawback is, and a lot of parents come to me, and they are reluctant. And I was like, look, y'all, always get all this energy that is me. Y'all don't come to the board, or y'all don't go to central administration and frame y'all complaints. I was at Family Dollar, and I had a parent, and they was like, you know what, we're tired of y'all district. We're pulling our kids out. Because one dad was like, his son was skipping school, and he found out that he was skipping school, and he went up to the high school to check on his child that was skipping school to make sure the child was in school. Now, this is a concerned parent, and there's so many concerned parents that's just tired of y'all. And they said they went up in there, and the principal told them parents can't come and check on their kids. You gotta leave. And he was like, what? I gotta leave? And I'm like, put this in writing so I can send it to the board. And they're like, y'all not gonna do nothing. But it's a whole missing link, a whole missing gap with the parents and the school district. Y'all not allowing these parents to come in these schools and check on their kids. And how's the principal gonna tell them you can't come in and check on your child? I wish they would. Everybody gonna be up there. For me, the fire department, they're gonna call the U.S. Marshal because I'm going into the building and I'm checking on my child. You're not gonna deny that. But that is the whole thing. Nobody wants to deal with that.
Well, I think the board's gonna deal with it because that's called customer relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And so when the customer come in, that parent is a customer, and the principal should act like that's a customer, because that customer brings us almost $8,000 per year.
Yeah.
And so our customer service is lacking that. So I think so. What's on the table here is that does the board want to get rid of this contract right now? Give them the 30 days notice so we can say, how much is this contract? 100, whatever it is, I don't have it in front of me.
Can I just point out something,
Yes.
make you very aware? Okay, it's 11:49.
I know what's
Several of us have to leave at noon. We might want to be thinking about another schedule. Okay.
So let's vote on this now.
But yeah, I think what happened though, remember the GMB was already scheduled.
Yeah,
Members
I
wanted to
know,
add
I know,
that, so-
and we added to it. I'm not criticizing, I'm just
Yeah.
making you aware that
Yeah.
we're running out of time.
Okay.
The noose is on our neck.
So Dr. Walker, you said you've already put this in, but Mr. Leonard said he hasn't initiated this in writing.
That's right, sir.
And then we want to move forward, so.
But I still need clarity, so I'm going to see what the board is.
Somebody needs to make a motion, and I'm not the
I
one
make
who's
the
gonna
motion.
make the motion, but
I make
I
the
wanna
motion.
make one comment. I would like to see a transition to our own people. If that can be a part of the motion, and if you don't choose to make it a part of the motion, that's fine.
All right, Ms. Mitchell, you have a motion?
The motion to end the contract with the BHAS immediately. And to also put other options on the table on the transition to another, doing business another way, prosecute, some other options. Administration, some plans that we can look at.
All right, so we have that motion on the table. Do I have a support?
Cost effective.
Support.
Supported by Lisa Dudley. Ms. Six?
Now, is this gonna be under staff report number 2? Because
We dropped the other one.
I've already, while I was gone, okay, we just did a staff report. Is this staff
Number
report
two, we didn't do, so.
Number 2 was tabled.
So you can use 2.
No, I just, if somebody changes it, that's fine. Lisa Gully,
Okay, so I just need clarification. So staff report number 2, it also says CSM custodial. Are we splitting all this up?
That's split. So staff report number 2 only stated the MASB governance, right? That other stuff was just talking points underneath.
Okay, all right, so yes.
Margaret Gass,
Yes.
Martha Momney,
Yes.
Angelica McGowan,
Yes.
Arletta C, yes. Stephen Mitchell,
Yes.
Joseph Taylor.
Yes. So I don't think we need to really talk about CMS custodial, do we, Mr. Leonard? I mean, not Mr. Leonard, Mr. Mitchell, because that's a point, if we talk about that, that's a client privilege, you would have to go in closed session, so I just gave that to you guys for peruse the document.
I'm good with CSM. Currently,
I think we can talk about it, attorney-client privilege, so if we need to, we'll go into closed session. So, but it's for your perusal.
I guess I don't have a document.
I sent it in your email.
Oh, no computer.
Yeah, I
I
didn't
guess
bring
I'll
that.
access it by my phone. I'll try to.
All right, so Ms. Belly, you mentioned at the board meeting about a pool, talked about the swimming pool. So Dr. Walker, I think that we just wanted a reassessment, maybe call out, what's the company out of Indiana?
I'll give this to you, that the original installers that did the work, I'd like another facility audit from them, so I can compare apples to apples with what B&B said, and I have their address and phone number.
Now, the next item was board superintendent relationship per the consent agreement. I think that question. No, so our next item was the board superintendent relationship per the consent agreement, Dr. Walker. So that was a question from a board member, and I don't know does the board member want to ask what that question was pertaining to?
I did ask the question. I'm looking at the time, and you know, I'm not going to go with bringing forth the question, and it's 11:55. So I will not, because I think it has more importance than just 1 or 2 minutes to discuss it. First, the questions that were, if this board is not willing to stay past 12 o'clock, I'm not willing to bring forth that.
I understand, but we got to remember the premise of this board meeting was the GMB facility.
I have no problem with.
And so we know that we may or may not have got through all these items. Now, if board members want to stay, some of us, and the others go.
That's why I just asked the question, is the board members willing to go through what we have concerning some of the items that are left on the agenda? Because if not, why would some board members here and some board members not?
I can't stay. So
I apologize. I almost always
Oh,
was
that's all
able to
right.
stay,
I
but
mean,
this time
we got stuck on some of these
Yeah.
other items, and that's what stuff. Okay, but-
and we
So
may want to
just
reschedule to address some of these so that we really can address them in full.
Well, we'll just have to come back to the table. And that's, so if you guys are willing to come back to the table and meet, we'll come back to the table, because
why not?
I don't understand that either. Ultimately, this was
But you know, my key is that we moved an item from the agenda to the back. And now this item that is on the agenda is moved to the back, and we've got 5 minutes to discuss it. Why did we move the questions of the school board to the back if we were not gonna have time to discuss them? I mean, so if we're not gonna discuss, why did we move it? Why did not we deal with this item as we were going down through the agenda? But now board members have to go, superintendent has to go, but one of my concerns was that item right there.
And we can go back and go over the item. We
Go
knew
back
that
when?
we can figure a date out. We knew as a board that we had GMB coming. So we knew as a board that we may or may not get through all these items. We knew that.
Well, I didn't.
I mean,
I didn't. I'm sorry, I didn't.
Well, we're gonna have to, President, I think we're gonna have to call another meeting.
That's all there
very
is.
soon, because we've got to discuss what our position is on what we were given today from GMB. You know, we haven't had a chance to discuss that, and you know, that's a financial situation that we're gonna have to take a look at. So we're gonna need some more time to, discuss our plan. And at that time, we can revisit.
And I also need to add, as long as we're looking at things that we need to discuss, and actually it goes along with a couple of the questions, probably many of the questions that were asked, and that is, this is not a have to according to the partnership agreement, but if in reviewing the evaluation of the superintendent, I wasn't here, so maybe you all came up with the tool and the percentages. I have reviewed the document through MASB, but I don't know that all of it agrees with our partnership agreement, and we need to do that. And frankly, it is strongly recommended that we be meeting essentially quarterly to make sure we've set our goals and have informal meetings prior to the actual formal evaluation. So that needs to be on the table too.
So With that being said, so we have some items left that we can talk about, next week. If you guys want to meet, let's have whoever wants to meet, a short retreat to talk about these items, because we knew we may not got to these items, right?
I
stated that at the
disagree,
table.
I disagree, Mr.
No?
If we cannot, as a board, provide questions or provide suggestions until some of these things are
We
answered.
understand that, so
Because
we're back to the table.
Okay, in the meantime, I'm not gonna ask any questions, and I'm not providing any suggestions because of perception.
I understand.
And I do think it's a problem.
Well, but here's what happened.
Well, I'll keep my mouth shut
We went
because
to the
I keep all my
retreat, and the
suggestions to
retreat was only for
myself.
3 hours, right? And it was only
Mr.
scheduled for
Taylor,
3, so
okay. You all, and I won't be here next Saturday, so.
it's not, it don't have to be a Saturday, so for the board, I'm willing to come back. Not,
I mean, usually I
We're
turn
tired
up
of
next
every,
week
and we're
is.
not getting anywhere.
Yeah.
And our biggest issue is we don't know what if we're violating partnership or consent agreements, and we keep having the same conversation. We just had a retreat, and it seemed like we violated something during that partnership agreement by not videotaping, and we're not willing to make sure, huh? It's already been said, Mr. Taylor, so I mean.
So here's where I'm at. You guys, everybody has to go, right? So do we want to come back and finish our questions up on the agenda?
First week in after Thanksgiving. I mean, I can be flexible after Thanksgiving. But not.
Yeah, and I can see where then there may be people coming into town over Thanksgiving and they want to spend Saturday with them.
Yeah, it don't have to be a Saturday. This could be, we can go over this for, say, an hour and a half to get these questions answered.
Yeah, I'm willing to come back.
Okay.
If we can work it out so that the majority of us, if not all of us, can be here.
So after Thanksgiving or before?
I think after.
I'm not gonna be here.
Okay.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have obligations.
I'm just saying a lot of this stuff's not gonna get answered or addressed, but so it is what it is, right? Well, I'm just saying, we don't have the time to talk about it.
Oh, you're talking about today? I thought I
Yeah,
had to go
today
to
it
work.
will be addressed, but not.
And there's still another.
This is
week
important to
in
me. I do need to
Was-
this understanding, but I have to go to work right now.
Right.
Yeah, we understand.
Yeah.
What's your suggestion?
On a date, or do you want to offer several by email and see who?
I don't know, I guess the first week of December.
We have the board meeting on Tuesday.
Yes, ma'am.
The week after Thanksgiving actually starts on November 27th. There is a few more days.
Right, so can we do that?
Yeah, that Tuesday.
28th? They're eating that right?
Work for everyone, work for me.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
What day is it?
Tuesday. Do we want the normal 6 o'clock or earlier or? And I'll put it on the calendar.
If the majority can be here earlier, it would be nice, but.
Lisa, can you be here at 5 o'clock
I have to see. I don't know what my schedule is. For that.
or 6?
I don't know.
Okay.
Tuesday, I'm good.
I'm good, so
So
it's
we're gonna fix
5,
that
okay? 5:30?
How about 5:30, just in case,
Yeah, split it down the middle.
Okay.
When you get to adjournment, I vote yes.
all right.
All right, I'm good. Put it all right down.
I'm sorry.
All right, so we have a motion to adjourn the meeting,
Motion to adjourn.
Support.
all right? Meeting adjourned at 12:02.
Thank you.